oh no, I thought that I'd paused the video, but I didn't. And then I was like, you know what? Let me be honest, because I'm so overwhelmed. I'm like, let me show what this looks like. When I'm doing things, I have to stop and do this. And I like to cover my face because I need it to be dark. And then it's like, it feels like the energy is in my belly. So when that crease is happening and I feel my stomach folding over on itself, it's like I can feel like the energy is starting to move out. And it's kind of like a whole body movement. And this is something that I am having to learn to do that I have never done before. And honestly, it feels really fucking good. I used to do this as a kid a lot. There was rocking. I really fucking like rocking. And it's like, I feel like I'm sweating now, which means that I'm starting to release the energy. I just gotta, it's like I gotta get it to the point where it's like I feel calm enough that I can sit here and speak to the camera again. But it's like when I think of certain things and I just get so excited because I know that what I've been through can be so helpful for other people. And it just by sharing, I've always been, it's all about life experience. Everything that I've learned has been through life experience. And I haven't spent a lot of time reading things, but I did go to college, and I went to college actually to go for psychology. And then I learned that I could get a double bachelor's, and I was like, okay, what can I get a double bachelor's in? And so I went into learning developmental psychology, like child development and learning. Sorry, I get so excited I have to calm myself down so that I can actually speak clearly. Child learning and development. And this was the time when all of my trauma started to come up. And I started having a lot of problems in my life, and I was misdiagnosed with PMDD, and I thought I had a hormone disorder, and I didn't. And I spent years trying to treat a hormone disorder, and nothing was working, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't stop burning out and being so exhausted and melting down. And gosh, dude, I was like in my early 30s at that point. I was like 31, 32 when I really started having a lot of those issues. So, going and getting that education, I think, set me on a true path. And the crazy part is that I actually ended up working in special needs for 4 years, and I loved it, but I got burnt out. I worked in a school, and I was doing like a summer job, and I was just so exhausted all the time and didn't understand. And I was just trying to keep up with everybody else, and I just couldn't do it. But I kept trying, and I learned a lot, and I overcame a lot, because all of those limitations that we have as individuals who have an autistic or an ADHD brain, you can break out of some of these cycles. Maybe not all of them, but you can learn ways to cope. Like now, my impulsivity when it comes to food, it's actually more intentional. Now it's like I think about it. It's like, okay, I know I need something healthy, but I can tell that I'm also overstimulated. So I need something that feeds my sensory needs. So I'll try and find the healthiest chip that I can, because I like the crunch in my mouth and it's very calming. It's also something that I can do during my day when I'm at work, and I like eating and walking. There's something about the oral fixation and the movement together that makes me very happy. So, you figure out little things that you can do throughout your day. And I'm sorry, my brain just kind of went blank, which means that I'm feeling overstimulated. But this is really cool. I'm putting my whole life together and figuring this out for myself, and I don't know anybody else like me. I don't think that there may be anybody else out there like me, and I do feel like I'm a fucking unicorn. So, and I'm sorry if I'm a little all over the place. I hope that in time that I'll be able to be more linear with it as I work with my own mind because what it is I can't slow down enough to make things coherent. So I have to slow myself down, slow my mind down, slow my body down. My body needs to be calm, and my mind needs to be calm. And when I can get myself there and regulate my body, I'm able to actually kind of stay on one subject, which I would like to do because I feel like that's going to be more helpful for people moving forward. But that's also a really big challenge for me in learning how to deal with my own mind. But I'm very excited. I fell into a very hopeless pit last year, and this is actually what set me on the track for figuring out that I had ADHD, because all the information was there. All the signs were there. Everything in my whole life has literally been pointing to this one thing, that this is what's going on with me, and I didn't understand myself. And okay, that drives me crazy when my brain just does that. Like when it just blanks. That drives me fucking nuts. Like I'm really trying to sit here and I'm trying to fucking say something and my brain just wants to be like, there goes your thought. We're just gonna derail everything. So, that felt really good. I like doing that. Like I'm noticing myself so much more and little things that I do or things that I haven't let myself do in a long time. And maybe this is part of the unmasking, because I'm still unmasking and I'm still discovering parts of myself, and it feels good. But I think most of all, oh yeah, okay, that's what I was going to say. How I figured out that I had ADHD. So I got to a point last year where I just felt like there was so much dysfunction in my life. Like I felt like I was being plagued by trauma. And in a sense, yes, I was. I was. And I was like, you know what? If this is the case, I said, let me just cut everybody out of my life. And I went to the extreme. And I go to the extremes all the time. And these extremes are what helps me break through. And so I cut everybody in my life off. I went totally crazy. I got rid of all of my stuff. Everything that I thought was a distraction in my life that kept me from sitting with myself, I got rid of it. I got rid of the clothes. I got rid of the knickknacks. I got rid of the art supplies. I got rid of fucking everything and just went totally fucking minimal. And what I discovered in that moment was that as I got rid of everything and there was nobody there in my life to bring dysfunction into it, I was still dysfunctional. I was still having issues, and I started paying attention to myself. It was funny, I was watching a movie one day and I was like, all of a sudden it just hit me. I was like, I am making inferences, which means that I'm using narratives and scripts to understand the world. And these scripts were all based in social norms so that I could understand what was going on, even though I don't understand them and I don't agree with most of them. And I think it's kind of stupid the way that most people live and the way that this world is run. And it goes much deeper than that, but I'm kind of done with the hateful part of it. So I'm just going to say that it has more to do with the fact that I just don't understand it. I'm not going to understand it, and I'm tired of trying. I'm tired of trying to understand neurotypical people. I don't fucking understand you. I think most of you are idiots. I'm sorry. I can't help it. If I'm honestly truthful, that's how I fucking feel. But that doesn't mean that I treat people like shit, because at the end of the day, we're all still human. And even though I feel that way, that's just part of my experience here on earth, and I'm going to embrace what I need to embrace. But it doesn't mean that I'm not kind or generous. It just means that I have these two sides. I have this one side that's like, fuck people, and then I have this other side that's I love people. So it really depends on what mood I'm in that day. Like, where am I going to be when I wake up in the morning? And then it determines what side of me. Are you going to get my bitchy, kind of standoff, skeptical, critical side? Or are you going to get my very loving side? Maybe you'll get my very indifferent side, my apathetic side, my super ridiculous, humorous, funny side. I don't know. I have lots of sides. They're all really cool. They all do different things, and they're all in contrast with each other. But I realized that I was making these inferences, and then I was like, well, what if I can stop my brain from making these inferences? And I was able to just, I don't know, just like energy like energetically, like clear my mind. That's how I think about it. To think about it in spiritual terms helps me to actually work through it, and it helps me to quiet my mind. And I got to the point where I was like, let me just sit back, let me just watch this movie and see what I see. And you know what? I became very uninterested in movies. You know why I became very uninterested in movies? Because the scenes don't make fucking sense when you don't add inferences. And I was like, this is just complete fucking chaos to me. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here, or how from you got from point A to point B when there's so much context that should have been there that isn't fucking there. And I don't understand that. And then it became like every movie was a fucking comedy because it was so fucking stupid. And now I can't even fucking watch movies because they're not enjoyable anymore. But that doesn't bother me because there is a lot of propaganda and bullshit norm brainwashing that goes into movies. And I like to have control of my brain. I like my mind to be free. I don't want it to be tainted or interrupted by other shit like that. So for me, I was like, okay, cool. But that was one of the things that kind of helped me get through it. But I sat through also this very deep, dark period of hopelessness and existential dread. And it was basically the uncovering all the layers of things that I had layered on top of my ADHD. So, and even though I'll be honest, I don't understand the full interplay of everything yet, but I'm going to. I'm explaining what I know and what I see from where I am in this moment. And honestly, this is like the best day of my fucking life, dude. Like, even every day I've been waking up, and even if I'm having meltdowns and having to figure out how to work with my own energy so that I can do the things I want to do, it's fucking phenomenal. It's fucking phenomenal. So, yeah, it was, I don't know, this last 6 months of just being by myself and spending a lot of time alone allowed me to see the things that were happening. And the thing is every time I've always felt that I'm going to have a meltdown, I'm like, it feels compulsive. I'm like, I can't stop it. When it starts, I can't stop it, and it needs to play out until my body is calm. And so it's like adding that up, what I've learned over the years, adding that up together into all of the pieces. And then it was really hard for me to accept this because I've never been big on labels, because I realized that the world likes to categorize things and label everything, and then it becomes a paradigm, a concept that becomes an absolute and set in stone, and it's not an absolute fact. And it really, really takes away from the ability to see the depth of what's really going on. You know what I mean? And so I don't like labels, but I had to get to a point where it was like, you know what? My whole identity is shifting right now. Everything I thought I knew about myself is absolutely breaking away. And as it's breaking away, I'm seeing the reality of what's been hiding underneath. And my brain's I think I need to stand for a minute, because like when my brain does this, and I don't know if it's like because I'm vocalizing it, like I want to know what is going on in my head. Why do I have like these foggy states sometimes that I can't, what's going on in my brain, and what can I do on a physical level to help it? And I think that's really where I'm at right now. Like, I've learned how to deal with myself emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. But physically, I just feel lost. I'm like, what do I do with this crazy ass body? Like, it's just doing what it wants, you know? And so it's just been a long road to get here. It's been a very long journey, and there's a lot of things that I want to say, and I'm having a hard time getting myself to calm down so that I can say those things. But I know that I'm going to get there. So it's just going to take time. And if you find these videos and you decide that you want to stick with me on this journey, then I just say thank you. I'm grateful to you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for everything. Thank you for watching my video. And maybe what I'm going through is helpful to you. And maybe it might be helpful for someone that you know. And maybe it might bring awareness to things that other people are aware of but don't understand what is going on, because living in that confusion and that lostness and not understanding what's happening in your brain, it's not a fun place to be. I'm going to get emotional because it was so hard and I just didn't understand what was going on or what was happening, and not for a little while. I'm talking years, my whole life. I'm 42 years old and just figuring this out. And my whole life could have been different if just one person, if one person would have noticed me. That's all it took. That's all it took, was for one person to notice me. And my whole life could have been different, but it wasn't. And I have to, like, I know that, you know what, it was a hard road, but there was nobody better than me to handle it. Because I've done things I don't think anybody else has done by myself. And so I'm going to share it all. The really, really hard bits. I'm honestly, I need to actually, before I share certain things, I don't need to say that. I don't need to say that. Not everybody needs to know that. But yeah, it's been a very long and hard journey. And like, I cry, but I think I'm very overwhelmed at the fact that it's finally done. And I don't have to live. I don't have to live in confusion anymore. And that, see, that's habit. How I've just sat there and sucked my tears back, dude. Instead of letting that fully process, it's gonna come up again. That's part of the masking. Masking is nothing but suppressing the reality of who you are and adopting the world's expectations, the world's beliefs, the social norms, the stupid shit that I call brainwashing. That's what it felt like to me, so that's what it's going to be. Because I feel like I was brainwashed into being somebody that I wasn't for the sake of other people. And it led me down a really hard road. Okay, this is the hard part, because I can keep talking and keep talking and keep talking, but I'd like to make 20 to 30-minute videos. So I'm going to stop here. Plus, I think I have thoroughly overwhelmed myself and now need to go take a walk and move my body and blow my nose because my nose is running. And, okay. Yes, thank you for watching. Goodbye, beautiful people.